Hello and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network for our first edition of the 2022-2023 NFL Show. I'm Cameron Anderson, and joining me today, co-hosts Garrison Glenn and Blake Molina. Thank you, gentlemen. We have 3 segments today. We're going to dive into our 5 favorite teams from the AFC and the NFC, along with our top 10 quarterbacks, and an exciting draft, drafting players 25 years and under. So Garrison, let's start out with the NFC.
All right, starting out at number 5 for the NFC, I have the Eagles. I am a little bit high on the Eagles this year just due to the fact that I got A.J. Brown. He is a tremendous wide receiver. I am very, very excited to see what he's going to do with Jalen Hurts this year. And I also like Devonte Smith. That offense is going to be very, very interesting to see. And also, don't sleep on the defense either. I'm very, very excited to see how this defense shapes up because they just look like they're a very, very versatile team. Pretty much can get it done. And I have them winning the NFC East this year. And Blake, who is your 5th pick?
So I'm going to stick with a bird type team, but I'm going to go to the Cardinals actually. Kyler is, progressing, and he's been kind of wishy-washy. I think we can all say that's the proper word to say right now.
Yes.
And, some of it has been the coach, other it's been injuries, whatever. A lot of excuses, let's just say that. I think it's time to forget about those excuses.
Right.
Get it going. You brought in your college receiver. I know Hopkins is out 6 games suspended, I believe.
He'll be
8?
out first. It's
6
to 8.
Yeah.
I think it's 8.
It is 8, yeah. So he'll be out. So that'll give you and Marquise Brown to build chemistry for, 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
Bring him back in. You sort that out. I mean, you have 2. It depends how you look at Marquise Brown. 2 potential number ones. Running back James Conner, who kind of, reestablished himself after those wonky injury years in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Defense, a little shaky. Buda Baker for me is very respectable on the defensive end for them. Yeah. So I think they're going to be a good team this year. I think they're on the rise.
For me, at number 5, like Garrison, I have the Eagles. They're my favorites out of the NFC East. The Cowboys are good in the regular season historically, but I don't think they're going to be much better this year. I think they're going to have a little bit of a drop-off. The addition of A.J. Brown is huge, and then also they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the cornerback, paired him with Darius Slay. They drafted rookie Jordan Davis, who was a beast in college. And honestly, the biggest reason I chose the Eagles is because I fully believe in Jalen Hurts this season. Okay. I think him and Devonte Smith are going to take a huge jump. Devonte Smith won a Heisman just 2 years ago, one of 3 receivers to ever win the award in the 88 years of the Heisman Award. So I'm big believers in the Eagles.
You're insane. All righty, going from number 5 to number 4, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I am very, 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 very high on Justin Jefferson. He's one of the best young players in the league to watch. He's an insanely very, very good wide receiver. I am very high on him. Also, I feel like Kirk Cousins has a little bit something to prove. Still, he's had that to prove.
Every year
I know every year he's kind of had that chip on his shoulder. So hopefully they can get it done. I have them winning the NFC North, and I don't really think it's going to be that close this year. I think they're going to be kind of the dominant team of that division this year. That's how I feel about the Vikings.
Well, up to me, I'm gonna great pick, by the way. I'm going to go Niners for number 4. Trey Lance's first year coming in.
Right.
We don't know what to expect. You gave up the Niners, gave up a treasure chest to get him.
They did.
So, sure, he's got something to prove, and there's something there, obviously, they like, that Shanahan likes. Remember, too, Shanahan's been with the Niners, I believe now. This is going to be 6th season, 5th season. This is his quarterback that he finally got to draft because, they traded or had
the whole front office, really, Lynch and Shanahan.
Exactly,
yeah.
So, Jimmy G experiment didn't really go as planned. I don't want to say it was a failure. There wasn't. But I think we can all agree it didn't go as planned. Bringing him back, though, the way they did was a little surprising, and it kind of gives you to think, do you trust Trey Lance? Was it just for insurance? What was the real motive there? It was a little weird for me to see that. I kind of thought Jimmy was gone. Seattle, potentially Carolina before Baker.
I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to see him in Seattle.
I understand.
And I understand where he goes to Seattle, they're still not going to be really contenders. But I think the fact that they could bring him back on a team-friendly option. I mean, he is the highest-paid backup quarterback, but it's only by like $500,000.
Right.
And he's by far the best backup quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt. But, other than that, though, away from Lance, the offense is pretty potent. Deebo Samuel, kind of that running back, wide receiver hybrid that we...
Wide back.
There you go. We truly haven't really seen, especially in some time, if in not ever. Defense has been pretty solid. You guys did... the Niners lost a couple guys, but just veterans, guys that needed to be cut for cap reasons. I think they'll be fine. I think I have them second division. I don't know if they're better than the Rams right now. I don't think they are, but second in your guys' division for sure.
My fourth team is the Packers. I think the Packers are going to win the NFC North this year.
Wow.
I actually have them above the Vikings still. I do like the Vikings on paper, but to me, it's like the Packers have been so dominant in the regular season, especially the NFC North. The fact that Devonte Adams leaves, yes, you lost Zadarius Smith to the Vikings. I don't think that's enough for them to regress the way that a lot of people are seeing them regress. I think Devonte Adams is clearly like top 3, maybe the best receiver in the NFL, but you still have Aaron Rodgers, who just won back-to-back MVPs. He's doing a lot of things off the field to make sure he's still going to be zoned in, if you know what I mean.
Good
and
Lord.
So I really just don't think a loss of a top receiver is really going to regress them that far. I think you could have a similar argument with the Chiefs. We'll get to that. But I think the Packers, they have a really good defense. Jair Alexander's back, lockdown corner. I really like Stokes, another corner. They have good linebacking core, Rashawn Gary. So I'm high on the Packers. I know a lot of people want to count them out because Devontae left, but I think they're still going to be the top of the NFC North.
All right. And that leads us to my number 3 pick. I have the 49ers, which is my team. And mainly based off of the fact that I am very, very high on Trey Lance. I think that he has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in this league, given that this offense is catered to his ability to be able to move out of the pocket and also just be very, very mobile. This offense has been doing this since Shanahan's been there. And so they are very, very high on him, and also they have the weapons at his arsenal are really, really good. I like, obviously, Debo. We know what Debo is. We know what he represents. Ayuk is, like I feel like he has nowhere to go but up. And also, we just drafted another wide receiver who is like a speedster. So I feel like we're going to be the offense is going to be very good. And then defense ranked, what was it, like second or third last year, with Bosa on the edge, and you have Fred Warner, and then the only thing I'm worried about is the back end, the secondary. The secondary has been a bit of an issue for us for a few years, so I'm not really too sure how that's going to work out. But I do think with enough pieces that the Niners have, I think we can go pretty far. So I have them number 3.
Well, my number 3 is the Minnesota Vikings. I put them above the Niners. I think the offense is going to be a lot more high octane. They have, for the first time in 8 years, an offensive-minded coach. Zimmer was there from 2014 until recently. He got fired back in March, excuse me. So that's a whole new look team, because they were mostly, when the Vikings, you thought defense. Well, you're not going to look at that anymore. The defense isn't the same. It's not as good, but it's not the worst defense in the league.
Right.
So it's going to have, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be an offensive-minded team with Cousins at the helm still. Dalvin Cook running, Justin Jefferson going for year 3, potentially the year he can become wide receiver 1 of the whole entire NFL.
Agreed.
Irv Smith's coming back from surgery.
Right.
He's going to be ready to go by week 1. Different offense. The line is the best it's been in probably 5 years, which is always a good sign. It's not the greatest line in the NFL, but it works. And the defense, it's going to have its works, but adding Zadarius Smith from a rival team like the Packers helps. Pairing him with Danielle Hunter definitely helps. That's a top 3 pass rush, in my personal opinion, in the whole entire league. And just like the Niners, the secondary is going to be the rough part. But, they can turn it around, and I think they should be definitely a kind of dark horse team to make a run.
I would definitely agree that they're a dark horse team to run. We'll see if they make that big jump like we saw the Bengals last year. They could be that type of team.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is the Niners. I was baiting between 2 and 3, but I have them at 3. They went 10-7 last year. The reason I like the Niners so much is, like you said, Trey Lance is coming in. I think the thing with Trey Lance is there's obviously a high pressure that comes in with being the 49ers quarterback, especially on this team right now because they're ready to go.
They're ready to go.
They're one to two plays away from going to the Super Bowl, and when they're in the Super Bowl, they're 1 or 2 plays from winning it all. So I think there's a lot of pressure for sure, and I understand where you're coming from with re-signing Jimmy. Trey might be looking over his shoulder, but I think Jimmy's such a good leader and such a good guy that he's not going to really be pressuring Trey to the point where Trey's worried about his job security or playing this season because they're really all bought in on Trey Lance. So I don't think that's going to be a huge worry. Another guy I really excited to look out for is the second-round pick, Drake Jackson. He's number 95 on the D-line. He's going to be there with Bosa and Armstead. I think he's going to be a beast. We always have the best D-line, and I think that's really going to carry us this year, along with Jimmy Ward in the backfield, or in the secondary, Fred Warner, best middle linebacker in football.
Yep.
I'm really excited about this team, especially with Trey Lance, who's going to have some ups and downs. He's basically a rookie.
Yeah.
He only played 2 games last year.
Oh, I agree. This is like his rookie season. It's a
Right.
Patrick Mahomes situation.
It is.
It's exactly the same thing.
All the other quarterbacks in his draft already had some plays last
Yeah.
year, and they were rookies last year, but this is basically Trey's first year. So anything could really happen, but he just has to be a little bit better than Jimmy G, which sounds easy on the field, but I think a lot of the things that Jimmy G brings is not necessarily on the field that we see. A lot of it is leadership and being that guy, which he's still around to be. So
yeah.
Right. All right, and that brings me to my number 2 pick, which is the Buccaneers. I think that with Tom Brady coming out of retirement for, 44 days, I feel like he's ready to go.
look how old he is.
For him to be 45 and be ranked as number 1 by the players, I mean, there might be that's crazy. The only thing I'm a little bit hesitant about with the Buccaneers is the fact that Chris Godwin's not going to be there for a little bit because he tore his ACL last year, and he might not be like that same player when he comes back. But anytime you have Tom Brady on your team, you're going to have a chance to go far. I feel like the man is he doesn't really know how to lose consistently. Well, I mean, what happened to him last year was insane. I feel like they're the second best team in the NFC. I'm very, very high on them.
I'm right there with Garrison.
Yep.
I have the Bucs at number 2. Pretty much made all my points. The couple ones I want to address. Brady coming back out of retirement means he's hungry and he still has a little left to prove or play whatever it is for him. I don't think he has nothing to prove anymore.
Plastic surgery in the offseason, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, going back, Godwin isn't going to be out as long as you think. I think
He's going to come back week 1 or 2.
Yeah, I have
Really?
him in a dynasty league, and he's supposed to come back latest is week 2. They said he's supposed to
He
play
might be
week
back
1.
week 1, but
They only
we'll
said
see.
he doesn't play week 1 if there's a setback. But on top of talking about
I didn't know he was
Godwin,
on.
that receiving core, let's just forget about Godwin. Let's say he's not playing
Insane.
week 1. Evans, you add Julio Jones, who's at the end of his career, a little
Russell
wash.
Gage.
Russell Gage was a very underrated pickup. 3 years, $30 million. I mean,
He's going to be better than Julio this year for sure.
let's be honest, I would have given him more money than Christian Kirk got. Christian Kirk shouldn't have gotten the contract he got.
He got overpaid.
Okay, let's not dive into it. But yeah, I agree. Christian Kirk, he screwed up the market.
Also, last thing about the Buccaneers too, their defense has been pretty intact for a couple years. I like
Their linebacking core.
Shaq Barrett is
Devin
White.
Devin White.
Levante David's been there forever, holding it down as a veteran.
Ricky Bunting.
Yeah. So I think the Bucs are number 2. That's pretty easy for me.
It's a
I
solid
agree.
number 2.
I have the Bucs in the same position. We're going to have the same 1 and 2.
Yep.
For all the same reasons. The one thing that does scare me, that wanted me to go Niners over the Bucs, although it is kind of counterintuitive, because the Niners O-line scares me. They have the best left tackle in football. It's not a question. But left guard, center, right tackle, I'm a little worried about that. And with the Bucs, I feel the same way. They do have Tristan Wirfs, one of the best young offensive linemen.
he's
Maybe
nice.
the best young offensive lineman,
Yes.
other than maybe Penei Sewell. But the rest of their line is hurt, and they just got rid of Alex Kappa. So I'm a little worried about that with Brady back there. He's not going to get loose, and he's always had a great offensive line.
No matter where he's been.
No matter where he's been, and it might not be that way this year, which scares me a little bit. But yeah.
And I believe the number 1 that we all have are the Rams. From top to bottom, they are, if not the most solid team in the entire league. I feel like Matt Stafford is only going up still. The man is fresh off of a Super Bowl win, and then you have the man, Aaron Donald. That man is insane.
Should have been number one.
He should have been number one in my opinion. I'm like, the man had a better playoffs. I feel like, and then I feel like they're just hungry again. I know they have a bigger target on their back now that they just won the Super Bowl, but I feel like they might hit like a little bit of a bump in the road once the season gets started, so they know how to because they might not know how to play like with each other. But I do think they're gonna probably catch fire again when they need to, which it sucks saying as a 49er fan, but it's just how I feel.
Yeah, same boat. I think the Rams have the most put together roster in the league right now. Yeah. Both sides of the ball. Offensively, Odell went down towards ACL in the Super Bowl. That was kind of a big loss, but replacing it with Allen Robinson, which was very unexpected.
One of the sneakiest plays in the offseason.
I couldn't agree. I think that and the Russell Gage move
That's going to help them this year a lot.
Not only that, you go into your division and take a top defensive monster, not anymore, but at the time, from a division rival and Bobby Wagner and lock him down like that. Yeah. That's scary. That's a great move. And it asks the question, where did the Rams get all this money? Because you're thinking they're like negative under the cap with all the money. Right. They're over here signing Robinson to a long-term lucrative deal. Bobby Wagner got a long-term pretty solid contract, so sky's the limit for the Rams. And I hate to say it because I used to have to watch them twice a year, but Stafford looks good, better than I've ever seen him. And he had Calvin Johnson, and that was one of the craziest connections potentially in the history. But he is a different breed on the Rams.
And he might have just topped it with Cooper Kupp.
I agree.
But yeah, I think the biggest losses, like you said, OBJ, Robert Woods, who was already kind of out,
Robert Woods,
and Von Miller. Von Miller went to the Bills, so that's a big loss. But I still really like this team. They have Floyd and Donald on the outside. With Bobby Wagner up the middle, they still have Jalen Ramsey. He's the best corner in the game. There's no discussion.
Not even close.
I think they're going to be really good this year. So let's move on to the AFC. Enough talking about the Rams. Let's go with number 5. I'll start it off.
All right.
And I have a little controversial. I have the Las Vegas Raiders at number 5. So that means I am putting them over the Chiefs and the Broncos, which is a little questionable, but I'm going to rock with it. The Raiders, the reason I'm putting the Raiders up here is because I think they've been contenders for a couple years now, and they've been right there. They kind of surprise everyone when they're looking at the playoff teams and they're like, the Raiders made it this year. They always make a weird push at the end of the year.
Right.
I don't think they got worse. I think they got a lot better. Yep. They just got Devonte Adams, who's potentially the best receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
And he just got paired with his college quarterback. They went to Fresno State with Derek Carr, who is also a very underrated quarterback. And they also got All-Pro Chandler Jones from the Cardinals, which is really scary. Chandler Jones, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. They got linebacker Jayon Brown from the Titans, who's really good, outside linebacker. They have Rock Ya-Sin, who they got from the Colts, really good corner. Trayvon Moore. I really like the defense this year compared to what it has been in prior years. And, I mean, they just added Devonte Adams with Hunter Renfro. I think they're going to be really good.
So I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to stay in that division in the AFC West, but I'm going to go the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think you count out Mahomes. I know this might sound like a little controversial. You don't count out Mahomes. Mahomes right now to me is what LeBron is to the NBA. He's the top player in the NFL. He is the staple. He's the image.
He's done it for 3 years.
He's the image of the NFL. But anyways.
His brother is,
Okay, stop. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I don't count out Patrick Mahomes. I know you lost Tyreek Hill, and that is a huge loss.
It is.
Do not get me wrong.
It is.
You got pretty good capital for him, though. You could use that and go get a receiver or do something. You brought in a couple guys. Sky Moore, I have kind of that guy that could really take it the next notch, but he has to get the proper chances and opportunities first.
Right.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's coming back from an injury kind of plague season. Might be. Cam, don't shake your head. I think he's going to be okay. He is a little overrated, but I think he'll have an okay season. And is Travis Kelsey the best tight end in football?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have the best tight end in football, and you have the best quarterback in football. So,
agreed.
I mean, that's a pretty 1-2 connection. I don't think the Tyreek Hill connection is as big as a loss, but it does bring them down a little bit in the standings. Like, they don't win their division, I'll admit that, but they're in there for sure for me. Their defense
scares me.
It does scare me. I know losing the Honey Badger is a little weird, but their defense hasn't been anything special, and Mahomes usually carries them. When they won the Super Bowl, that defense wasn't that great.
Chris Jones, who's still on the team.
Yeah, I mean, but that defense wasn't that special. So I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs at 5.
Yeah.
I have the Raiders at 5. I feel the same way you do about the Raiders. I'm very, very high on them. I like that what they have with Derek Carr. The Derek Carr and Devonte Adams connection I feel like that's going to be one of the best connections in football to watch, especially since they seem like they're so high on each other. They seem like they're very, very happy to be with one another. Because, I mean, Devonte was – the whole reason why he was there was because why he left was because he wasn't really sure if Aaron wanted to play. Because Aaron Rodgers wasn't really just sure about how he felt. And I really just like their defense as well. I like their new pickup that they got, and then it just seems like the team is just ready to go. Seems like because they've been knocking on the knocking on the door of the playoffs to make a playoff run for a while now. So
the one thing I'll say about the Raiders, the Chandler Jones signing was very kind of like, wow, the Raiders got him type of signing. You know, that's what I will give him credit for. Because when I saw Chandler Jones sign with the Raiders, I was like, were they even in the running? I mean, do they even have the money? What are they doing?
Yeah.
So, you never know.
It went under the radar a little bit for a guy like Chandler Jones.
That's what I will give him that. That was a real wow, the Raiders got Chandler Jones, but I'm still going to just give the Chiefs that extra push because of Mahomes.
And I also like Hunter Renfro, too.
I do, too.
He's a very, very
underrated receiver, for sure.
He's underrated for sure.
Absolutely.
So, at 4, more controversy, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. So some people have them higher. I can definitely see having them higher. They did improve their offensive line after record-breaking sack numbers last year. Joe Burrow got sacked over 50 times.
Wow.
They got Alex Kappa from the Bucs. They got a center, Ted Karras, who won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots. They drafted a corner out of Nebraska. They have the best offensive weapons in football. I would agree with that. I think that offense is the best young offense. If that group can stay together for the next 3 to 4 years, they're definitely going to win some championships. And Joe Burrow's definitely that guy. But I just have a couple more teams ahead of them. So,
well, if it's controversy, I guess I'm controversial too. I have the Bengals at 4 as well.
That's crazy.
I mean, what they did last season kind of, really shot them up. Nobody expected them to do what they did. If you did, you're rich.
You're a
now.
Bengals fan.
You're a Bengals fan, or you're rich now. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
That offense, I agree. That wide receiver room is probably number one.
It is number one.
No, it is number one because Tyler
one.
Boyd is considered wide receiver 3, and he can be a 1 or 2 on a pretty good team.
He was a number 1 for a while
before they drafted the receivers. Chase and Higgins. I mean, when Higgins was still breaking in, he was still the number 1, technically.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Joe Mixon is that not that big name back, but he's that back that's really productive for you. He's a good back, but he's not I don't put him in that Dalvin Cook, Kamara type list. I put him just right under it. And it's no disrespect to Mixon.
So it's kind of like a tier 2.
Yeah, he's legit right below.
He's the top of the tier 2.
Yeah, he's he's in front on tier 2 for me. He's the next guy I'd call up to be number 1.
Right, the best on the tier 2.
Absolutely, yeah. Defense is they're put together well. Cam, you talked about the O-line. I like Jesse Bates the most on their defense. I'm really surprised they're not paying him and they're kind of making it look rough or they might trade him. I hope they don't because I think he can be a staple for this defense. But the Bengals, they're just a team that can only go up.
And their defense is really good in the playoffs, but not so much in the regular season.
Because Awuzie turned up in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that
Awuzie was nice.
And Eli Apple on Twitter, it was great.
Oh, man, that guy was,
Anyway, I have the Chiefs number 4 in the AFC. I have them at number 4. I'm a little concerned about how Mahomes is going to fare with this new offense. I also feel like with the offensive weapons that he has, I feel like he can still be a solid quarterback. I'm not sure if the pressure is going to get to him or not, but I feel like he'll be okay. He has Andy Reid. Andy Reid is one of the best offensive minds that we have. And also another thing that bothers me is their defense. Their defense has been bothering me for years. They haven't been that much of a solid defense to the point where Mahomes is like, okay, well, now we're down, so we're going to have to, go down the field and do what he does. Not really high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire either. He seems like...
Sounds like you're talking yourself out of it.
I know, I feel like I kind of am talking myself out of it, but I'm going to put them 4 just because of Mahomes.
Yeah,
I have a lot of faith in Mahomes. He's my favorite quarterback in the league, just to see him play. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I do have them 4. I am a little down on them, but I have them at 4.
That would have been a good list, favorite QBs or whatever. Instead of like actually making like a list of like the top guys, we talk about like our favorite. Because I'm not gonna lie, my favorite QB right now is, you guys would go crazy.
We'll get to that, because you might have him higher on your list than most people, which would reveal that you have a favorite. So number 3, I have the Indianapolis Colts.
Whoa, number 3?
Wow. Number 3, I love the Colts this year. I'm really high on the Colts. I think the Colts are very, very, very similar to the San Francisco 49ers. I think they are a quarterback away from making that really big push and going deep into the playoffs. They have the best running back in football. They have one of the best offensive line in football.
Okay,
that's true. Yeah. I give you that.
They have. You don't think they have the best running back in football?
No, I do. No, I agree.
I mean, it's you can make a debate about that.
Is the best running back.
Jonathan Taylor is the best.
Over Jonathan Taylor?
I would personally take him.
He was the best halfback last year.
No,
he almost won MVP.
I have no disrespect to Derrick.
I can see where you're coming from. Derrick Henry's a monster. They also, I think they could have a top 3 defense. Their defense is disgusting. They have Ngakoue. They have
Buckner.
They have DeForest Buckner. They signed Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Which was like, no one really talked about that. They drafted Kwity Paye. They have Shaquille Leonard. They have Kenny Moore. I think Michael Pittman is going to make a really big jump. He's the wide receiver 1, and he's going to be really good.
He's a big body receiver, too.
6'4", he's fast, great hands.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, I think Matt Ryan with the running game and a great defense could be really good. I know he's old, and he's not, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, but as long as he's not one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, like Carson Wentz, I think the Colts will be fine.
Middle of the pack type of quarterback as well.
Yeah.
I have no disrespect for the Colts. That's a little high on the list, but I had them as honorable mentions, so I'm not.
I did too.
That's crazy you put them that high, but
I'm big on
I'm
the
not
Colts.
mad at it because I do like all the points, and I agree. I think Matt Ryan's gonna have a turnaround year.
Okay.
Number 3 for me, Broncos country, let's ride. You gotta put Russell Wilson up there. Are you kidding me? This guy's going to a offensive loaded team that he's never had in his life. He has 2 receivers that are potential number 1s. Right. He's got a running back room that could potentially be a top 5 duo back room.
Yep.
With resigning Gordon, Javonte Williams is on the come up, and he's nice. Tight end, I mean, Russell's never used a tight end. They brought in a rookie or 2. He can get involved. Greg Dishel is the one guy I liked. They drafted in the 3rd round. I believe his last name is Dishel. Yeah.
I think Albert O is going to be a guy this year.
No, I've been hearing about him. Yeah, I liked Dishel though.
But again, like you said, he doesn't really use his tight ends. So.
Yeah, and then
he doesn't.
That defense, that's a championship. That's been a championship contending. That's been a contending defense for a while.
With Von Miller.
Well, even when they lost Von Miller, it wasn't as good, but it was still up there.
A lot of those guys are gone. Who's still from that team? Who's still on that team?
Isn't Bradley Chubb?
Bradley Chubb.
That's realistically it, but
Simmons. Oh, you're talking about from that team that
from
won?
That team?
Oh yeah,
from
that team.
No.
Well, yeah.
But I agree. They have a really good defense.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain. I think the Randy Gregory signing was a little interesting. A little too much money. But that can be interesting, and I just believe in Russell Wilson.
I do too. I like Russell.
Jerry Jeudy's going to break out too, and then that's it about the Broncos.
He's been injured. So.
All right, and my number 3 is Chargers. I have them a little bit lower than most people do because I've seen a lot of lists. They have them a little bit higher than number 3. I love Justin Herbert. He has one of the best arms in the league. The man averaged almost 300 yards a game last year, which was insane. Great arm. And also great mobility, too. He can get out of the pocket when he needs to, and he knows how to slide.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler seems like one of the better halfbacks in the game. He's really good security blanket.
He's my favorite catchback.
He's good, man.
I take him over Aaron Jones catchback-wise.
Wow.
100%.
And then go to the receivers. Keenan Allen. I feel like he's one of the most underrated receivers in the game.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. Yeah. I mean, the team looks very, very solid. And then you go to the defense. They just got Khalil Mack. The man's a beast, and you still have Bosa. not mistaken, they got J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson was the biggest signing.
Yeah, exactly. That team is very, very put together. So these two LA teams, the Rams and the Chargers, it seems like it's going to be very, very interesting to see what both of them have to offer this year. So I have the number 3.
Sorry, I agree. And at number 2, I have the Chargers.
Oh, wow.
Last year, they were 9-8. Underperformed. They lost a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Like a ton of close games. A lot of people were blaming Brandon Staley. He was super aggressive on 4th down. Almost every 4th down he would go for it.
Yep.
But in the playoffs, they had a crazy run where it was 4th down on a drive. I think they converted 3 or 4 4th downs in order to keep the game going. I'm not going to reveal too much, but Justin Herbert's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I think the sky's the limit for him.
Yep,
the Dolphins are going to be so sad when they they already are, that they passed up on Herbert and took Tua. They also have Kenneth Murray. I really like Asante Samuel Jr., who went 1 pick after the Niners, who I was really angry about that because I wanted him.
I was too. I wanted him as well.
Mike Williams going to make another big jump. Big receiver out of Clemson. He's been in the league for a couple years, but I really like Mike Williams. Keenan Allen, go Bears. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get spicy now. I have the Bills at number 2.
Ooh.
So I'm putting the Bills there, and I know it's kind of crazy, and I really had to think about this a couple times for my number 1, and we'll get to my number 1 when we get there. But Josh Allen is great. I think it goes Mahomes and then Allen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For the most part,
Oh,
QB-wise. We can talk about it. Yeah, I can see you giving me a look. That's how I think it goes.
I think it goes too.
You had Stephon Diggs, who blew up more than he was already doing in Minnesota. Gabriel Davis.
Yep. Crazy.
It's Evans. No, it is Davis.
It's Davis.
It's Davis. Blew up out of the playoffs, nowhere, and now he's wide receiver 2.
Number
Great.
2.
Isaiah McKenzie, kind of their kick returner, wide receiver 3, little speedster.
Right.
He's going to get involved more because he was hurt. Dawson Knox is starting to become an underrated tight end.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, pretty solid numbers, and I mean, he's not really talked about a lot. Defense, Von Miller getting added was wild. That to me is kind of like we're talking about the Raiders signing. One of
Chandler
those.
Jones.
Yeah, kind of just one of those. Wow, the Bills got Von Miller. I thought he was going back to the Broncos, or even the Rams.
I think he was staying with the Rams.
I thought he'd go either way. The Bills
only pay so many players.
Yeah,
true.
The Bills kind of came out of nowhere. I also like too. He's one of my favorite defensive players. Is Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
Too. He is a dog.
Don't forget about Tremaine Edmonds either.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Crazy.
They have the best secondary, I think, in football.
I couldn't
with
agree more.
Poyer and Hyde.
Yeah.
They also have Kyrie Elam. He's rookie. I think he's going to be really good.
Micah Hyde is a little on the older side, but he can still perform. But
Jordan
I'm
Poyer's
putting the
a
Bills there. I think the sky's the limit, though. They have the potential, I think, to win a Super Bowl, but I have one team I just like literally a little better, and we'll get to that.
All right, and number 2 for me is going to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals were like a few plays short of winning a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Coming off of a year when no one expected them to. They have the best receiving core in the league. The running back situation is a little bit shaky, but I feel like they can be solid. And also, what I'm very, very happy about is their O-line.
Yeah, their O-line.
If Joe Burrow can get sacked 9 times in a game and still win, and then get to a Super Bowl 2 games later,
Right.
with a bad O-line, imagine what they can do with a solid O-line.
That's
I feel like this O-line is going to be very solid. They're very, very excited to see what's going to happen, and so am I. Also, with the defensive end of the football, they should be pretty solid on that end as well. Probably not going to be like as great as the best defense in the league, but I feel like they'll be an okay defense. So, Bengals number 2.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Bengals align with Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard. But now I'm going to go on my number 1, and I think it's pretty obvious. This is like the consensus number 1. But I can see you can flip between 3 or 4 teams. But I have the Bills, number 1. The addition of Von Miller. They also got Shaq Lawson. Rookie James Cook, who could be RB1 really soon.
Yeah.
They don't like Devin Singletary. They've been trying to switch him out with Zach Moss. That hasn't really worked. James Cook could be really good and could be a key part of that team. Josh Allen, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Stephon Diggs, one of the best receivers. And that secondary is really good. Plus, you add Von Miller and Shaq Lawson off the edge. I know Shaq Lawson's a little whatever, but Von Miller's still Von Miller. So I have the Bills number 1.
I can switch my number 1 and 2s. I just, for me, and I know this might sound a little crazy because we've been talking off about certain things, I have the Chargers number 1. That roster is crazy.
Okay.
And they were just, like you kind of said about the Raiders, they only got better. They didn't really lose anything, and they didn't get worse. They just got better. They traded for Khalil Mack. They didn't give up too much compared to what he got traded for what the Bears gave up.
Yeah.
So that was a win in my personal opinion.
Okay.
J.C. Jackson signing, that was a little more obvious. There were talks he was going to go to a contending team.
Yeah.
That's an awesome pickup, especially in a division like that when you have, pretty big name wide receivers. You got a lockdown guy. Offense is Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, who you said underrated. I couldn't agree more.
Most underrated in the league.
Gerald Everett got brought over as a tight end, not bad. I know the tight end room's been a little weird since Antonio Gates left the Chargers, but that's just probably on paper, maybe besides Donald Parham, I'm not huge on him, but on paper, best tight end they've had in a while. Jared Cook had an okay season. I think it was last year, the year before when he was there, but I like Gerald. I pick Gerald Everett. That's just me.
Okay.
Sky's the limit for Herbert. It only goes up unless he gets hurt. I mean, I think he can be a top quarterback in this league at one point or another. Yeah. And if he wins early, that conversation begins sooner.
And number 1 for me is the Bills. I got a lot of faith in Josh Allen for this AFC.
The way you said that.
I know.
It's the Bills.
I mean, you've basically highlighted everything that I was going to say about the Bills. The main thing is Josh Allen. The man is just.
It's a quarterback-driven league.
It's a quarterback-driven league, and he has arguably the best arm in the league. He can bomb it away at any point. And he also is very, very mobile. The man can get out of the pocket at a moment's notice. I do also like Stephon Diggs. He was arguably the best wide receiver a year ago, and at least in the conversation. Not really too sure about the running back situation, as you guys talked about. They're not really high on Singletary, so we'll see what happens. But the Bills definitely seem like they're going to be the number 1 team in the AFC for me.
I agree. All right, so that is a wrap for the segment on our teams. So we're going to dive into our top 10 quarterbacks. All right, so I'm going to start off at 10, and we're going to work our way down. I think we're going to do the same format we just did.
Okay.
So my number 10, I'm lower on him than I was the year before. It's Kyler Murray. I have Kyler Murray at 10.
Okay.
I think he can be top 5. My worry is D-Hop's going to be out from the suspension, and I had him in fantasy last year, and right when D-Hop went out, he was atrocious. It was so rough. He had that shoulder injury. Yeah. Yep. There's concerns about his leadership and maturity this offseason. He was deleting the Cardinals out of his bio and deleting all of his images.
That was
and
wild.
I think he will move past that, but there's just some question marks around him, which really sucks because I love him. And the A's drafted him. Good job, A's.
Okay. Kyler Murray's not a bad pick. I was kind of surprised you put him on the list.
I am too.
I'm going, for me, I'm going Captain Kirk Cousins. That offense is going to be a top 5.
10 quarterback.
That offense is going to be top 5, and he is going to be one of the reasons for it. Okay. I'm not discarding Jefferson or Cook. They're going to do their parts, and Jefferson's probably going to take that leap like we talked about off camera earlier. But Kirk Cousins going in that offense with an offensive-minded coach like Kevin O'Connell, who came over from the Rams, and we saw what the Rams offense did last season.
Who are your honorable mentions?
For QB?
Yeah.
You're not going to like them. I have, in no order, Tua because I'm high on him, Carr, Dak, and I'll throw Lawrence in there for fun.
Okay.
Hurts just missed it.
Trevor Lawrence. Top 10.
No, you said honorable mentions.
Right, like 14 or 15.
Oh, potentially, yeah. No, he's a generation. No, hold on. He's not there yet.
We're talking about next season. This is for next season, right?
Not this coming season or the season afterwards?
This season coming up.
He can be. He's a generational talent at QB.
I would disagree. So you don't know Jalen Hurts,
at any time.
Actually, never mind. Let's just let's go.
Yeah. Go off.
All right, and then for me at number 10, I got Dak Prescott. He's a solid quarterback. Okay. Been a solid quarterback for a few years. It's just every time the Cowboys start a season, they start pretty well, and then they go down, like about halfway or a few games after halfway through halfway through the season. So, I mean, at the weapons at his disposal, he has CeeDee Lamb, who Skip thinks is a really, 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 really good wide receiver. So we'll see what happens. And then they did get rid of Cedric Wilson, though, which kind of bothers me because I feel like he was a little more dependable But
Michael Gallup's injured.
Michael Gallup's injured.
He's going to come back soon, though.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of like Dalton Schultz. He's kind of like an underrated tight end for me.
He's
good.
I feel like they're going to be. I feel like they're going to be pretty
anymore.
solid. On defense, I love Micah Parsons. I'm very, very, very high on Micah Parsons. I feel like he's going to be the unspoken leader of that team. And then,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Right. At number 9, I have Mr. Bronco Country, and that's Russell Wilson. I think he doesn't pass some of these other guys I have up there, but he's definitely top 10. Like Russell Wilson could be a Hall of Famer. I think he will be a Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer to me.
With the rings and the appearances.
Ring.
I really like his ring, yeah. I really like what the Broncos have done, bringing in a perfect quarterback for that team, and he's already embodied like the Broncos with that young receiving core. Like you said, he's never had that receiving core before. I like Russell Wilson. He's at number 9.
Okay.
Oh, I got to change my list, but my number 9 is going to be Matt Stafford.
Okay.
And it is no disrespect to Matt Stafford. I've watched him as a Detroit Lion and saw what he did, and I felt for the guy at times, and there's other times I could care less. But coming off a Super Bowl, pretty big. He had a great season in general too. Whether they win the Super Bowl or not, he had a fair season. I think we can all agree. He was just put into a better situation. Sometimes that's what happens. He was in a poor situation like Detroit. I know he had Calvin Johnson, but really look at it, that's all he had.
That's all he had.
That's all.
For a
He
decade.
never had
For
a
a
running
decade.
back. Reggie Bush, he had for one season. That was his only 1,000-yard rusher, and that was in 2013.
Right.
That was it. After that, nothing. Kerryon Johnson was there. He didn't work out. They have Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. They're going to see if that works now. But
Wait, why did we talk about the Lions? Oh,
well, because he was on the
Stafford,
Lions.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
He never
yeah,
had a
yeah.
running back.
Yeah,
But now he went over. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. I'm not high on Darrell Henderson, but he gets talked about. So he's just in a better situation, and he's kind of having some elbow issues. That's why I kind of have him a little on the lower part of my list, because he's older and we don't know what's going to happen with the elbow. But I mean, he should be fine. No injuries. Rams should be a top team with him at the helm.
Alrighty. I made this list before the suspension came out, so I didn't know that he was going to be gone for this long, but I put Desean Watson at number 9. I'm almost purely basing this off of what he did for Houston.
Yeah.
Which
is what we have to do.
Yeah, which is what we have to do, because he didn't have much of anybody besides D-Hop on that team before he left.
Yeah.
So him now with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that's arguably the two best duo for running backs in the league. And you also have Amari Cooper, who's very solid wide receiver, I think we can all say. And then that defense with Myles Garrett, and then Greedy Williams, I feel like sometimes he's very inconsistent. He gets hurt a lot, but I feel like when he's on, he's on. I feel like he can be a good corner.
Yeah.
So
I feel
we'll
like,
see.
yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
I
go
didn't mean
ahead.
to cut you off.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just meant like we're diving into the teams, but I feel like the quarterbacks, like, I don't know. I think I agree, like that the Desean has like good weapons and stuff, but I don't know if his defense really has to do with like him being on.
No, you're right, and I shouldn't really have said the defense. But I don't know.
If Deshaun's playing, he's definitely top 10 quarterback.
Oh yeah,
That's
I would
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
remake
Yeah.
my list.
No
I
doubt.
was making it without the fact of Deshaun.
Yeah, that
if
was-
Deshaun
yeah.
is playing, this is a different list.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, number 8, I have Matthew Stafford. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl. There was some elbow injury concerns based off off-season reports, but they just cleared him, and he is good. He's been practicing and throwing just fine. Cooper Kupp and Calvin Johnson really have the best single seasons as receivers in the last decade, and I mean the common denominator. It's Stafford.
Stafford
He's
is
the
first
same
throw the ball.
quarterback.
Craziest stat ever.
It is. I think Stafford has a lot of just the arm talent really impresses me. He's similar to Aaron Rodgers, where he does like the no-look throws, Patrick Mahomes, where he has the different angles. And the way he played last year in the playoffs was pretty insane. So Stafford's at 8.
My 8, I had to kind of rearrange my list real quick in my head. I'm going to push back my guy Lamar Jackson. I had him a little higher, but I had to redo my list real quick. And I've been talking a lot about Lamar to you guys, so you guys know how I am. But he's going to come back to his form. Is he going to be MVP this year? Probably not.
Probably not.
He has to get that number 1. He has to. Marquise Brown technically was it, but he truly wasn't it. He needs a true number one. Just for an example, I'm throwing a name out there. DK Metcalf would be great.
Odell.
Yeah, maybe not now, but yes, I'm not disagreeing. I wouldn't be mad if he went there, but I don't see Odell as a 1 anymore. Like,
Oh, I do.
I see him as he's a
one.
2. He's a legit 2 for me. I can't take him as a 1.
Are you saying
Here's
that
Mark
based
Andrews.
Are you saying that based off of what happened with this situation in LA?
Just the last couple
Mark
of years.
Andrews was the best tight end in football last
Absolutely, easily. No, I took him over Kelsey in my fantasy draft,
I agree.
and that
He's
was
the best tight
because
end
he was the
last
best
year.
tight end. Lamar has weapons, but he needs that actual number one, a guy that could break down the
Right.
field, that type of thing. Defense, it's the Ravens. They've always had a good defense.
Oh, yeah.
And Harbaugh's been there now. This has to be, I think this is season 12.
I don't know.
It's up
10?
there.
It's in the double
there,
digits.
Yeah, he was there for a
Yeah,
while.
he's
been
one of
there
the
for a
longer
minute.
tenured coaches. So, he's been doing that ship for a good amount of time, and he's going to get it together. Him and Lamar, I think the sky's the limit. I think Lamar gets another MVP for sure. Not this season, but
Throughout his career.
yeah. And maybe a
yeah.
couple more, but yeah.
And I also have Lamar at number 8. I feel the same way you do about just basically everything. The only thing I'm concerned about with Lamar is he gained 30 pounds or something like that. Like
He's
close to
25
that.
pounds, yeah.
25 pounds. And so for me, that begs the question, with all that weight, is that going to affect your speed? Because speed is what defined Lamar Jackson, because that's part of his game, is obviously his ability to run. So I'm excited for him because I'm happy that he gained all that muscle, because that gives you a little more wiggle room if you were to be tackled, as opposed to him being as thin as he was. But that man's a baller, man.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
arguably one of the best
He
quarterbacks in
is
the league as
to me,
well.
too.
So
I agree.
I have him at 8.
I have Lamar at 7.
Okay.
I have no concerns with him putting on weight. All I've heard is that it's muscle.
Okay.
It's not Zion weight. Sorry. But this is like actually good weight for him, because he's like one of the skinnier. I mean, he's lean. He's
Yeah,
lean
he was like
fast.
208, I think.
208.
Yeah.
He's lean. Obviously, he's super quick.
Right.
Like probably the most explosive quarterback. Definitely the most explosive with running the ball.
Yeah.
Since we've seen Mike Vick. Like since Mike Vick, there's no debate. It's Lamar.
And he can throw the football.
He can throw the football. He's been really accurate in his career.
Yeah.
He had obviously a down season last year, but I think he's going to bounce back this year. So I have him at 7.
All right.
My number 7, it made me change my list, but Russell Wilson. We've kind of already talked about it. He's going into that situation where the weapons he's never had, that defense is going to be, I think, pretty top tier. And again, to me, I have him winning that division. Russell. Well,
Wait,
I
what?
trust. Well, I'm saying I'm putting Russell Wilson's going to help him win that division, in my opinion.
I thought you had the Chargers above the Broncos, though.
No, I have them 1 and 2. I have the Chargers personally number 2. I have the Broncos winning that division. I'm saying though, you can interchange. For me, you can interchange the Chargers or Broncos.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think the Chiefs or Raiders win it, but I can
Got it.
interchange both
Got
those
it.
teams. And I think Russell gets the job done. He's got a Super Bowl. He's been coached under Pete Carroll, who depends who you talk to. He's 50-50. He's either a good coach or a really bad coach. I think
Cheater.
he's.
Yeah.
That too, but I think he's a solid coach, and I think Russell Wilson can take. Russell Wilson's locked in for 7 years with the Broncos. I don't know how many Super Bowls they'll go to. I have him winning 2 in his career. There.
I also chose Russell Wilson, number 7. I didn't have to change anything for that. So, the addition for him to go to Denver seems to be arguably the best fit
I think it's
for
perfect.
anybody
Yeah.
to go into
Agreed.
any team.
Yeah, I agree.
The weapons at his disposal seem like they're very, very conducive for his style of play. I'm very, very excited to see how he fares with that offense, and we're just gonna see. I feel like the sky's the limit for him still. It's kind of like a new beginning for him.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, he didn't have much of anybody in Seattle that was actually contributing. I mean, he had Lockett and DK, but that was it. Carson kept getting hurt all the time, and it seemed like he was very inconsistent. And then he just retired. So with this team that he has now, unlimited amount of possibilities that can happen for him.
At number 6, I have Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is going to be his 3rd year.
Okay.
Although his first year was cut short to the ACL. Coming off a Super Bowl appearance, I do think he has the best weapons in the NFL. Offensive line has gotten better. Defense basically the same as last year. Showed up when they needed them to. he's one of the best young players in the NFL, period. And I could interchangeably bring him up, but I think I have to respect some of the OGs before him and three other quarterbacks that I like better. But yeah, Joe Burrow at 6, pretty good.
Yeah. So for me, my 5 and 6 can go either way. I'm putting at 6 Herbert. Sky's the limit. We've already talked a little about Herbert earlier. That ceiling just keeps getting higher and higher. It doesn't look like it's going to get any lower anytime soon or potentially ever. His team is just well put together. I don't want to say like a perfect Russell Wilson situation, but for a young quarterback, like a rookie quarterback, that was probably the best situation anyone could have gone to at the time.
Like that.
And they even got better in that time since they've drafted him. So I kind of put it like that, and I still think either Chargers or Broncos win the division. I am taking the Broncos, but I don't count the Chargers out at all. I have him number 2 no matter what. So I put Herbert there.
At number 6?
Yeah.
And then for number 6 for me is Matt Stafford. I think he has nothing else to prove anymore. Like, we all knew what his potential was. We all saw it throughout the years. He just didn't have much, like, in many weapons, and now he has arguably the best receiver in the game with Cooper Kupp. And then you have Van Jefferson, who's underrated in my opinion as well.
Underrated slot receiver, absolutely.
And then Cam Akers is pretty good running back. So I'm pretty excited to see what Matt Stafford has to bring to the table, even though he is on the Rams. Not a Rams fan, but we'll see what happens. Matt Stafford's number 6.
All right, at number 5, I have the GOAT, number 1 player in the NFL, Tom Brady. I have him pretty low. I think number 5 may be a little disrespectful.
That is. I'm sorry.
That's
too low, man. That's too low.
Oh, my God.
It's a little disrespectful, but also the reason I have him at number 5 is I think, first of all, he threw for over 5,000 passing yards last year, which was like the first in his career, or the most in his career. I do think the offensive line is going to hurt him a little bit in terms of his passing stats. He definitely has really good receivers.
Right.
And Mike Evans, who's gotten 1,000 yards the last 6 years. Chris Godwin, one of the best receivers.
Scotty Miller.
Obviously, Russell Gage, Julio Jones, Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller's not on the team.
He's not. He got cut. He's on the Texans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not surprise cut.
So, yeah, I would say I know Brady at 5 is a little low, but I'm talking about this upcoming season. I think he's going to be the 5th best quarterback.
Okay.
Okay.
A little bit of a shocker there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to say it is a little disrespectful. I don't think it's criminal.
He's 45 years old.
It's not criminal. I have Brady on my list, and we'll get to him soon. My number 5 though is Joe Burrow.
Joe Shiesty.
Yeah, whatever you want to call him. That run last season kind of showed the ACL, like you said, kind of cut his season short, so we didn't get to see too much like what we saw to Herbert. I think, to me, him and Herbert are going to be going at it for years of who's better type thing in their draft class. No disrespect on how high I'm on Tua, but that's probably what's going to be the 1-2. The shootout is between those two guys.
No doubt.
And like you guys said, he was a couple plays from winning the Super Bowl. No takeaway from the Rams. The Rams deserve it. No, but plays gone differently. Joe Burrow might be a Super Bowl quarterback, and we might be having different conversations today in general. So I have Burrow at 5, sky's the limit, and he's a future MVP, and he's gonna get his ring. There is no doubt about it. As long as he keeps that offense and they upgrade, that team gets potentially more than 1 ring, but they'll get a ring for sure. So I have him at number 5.
I have Joe Burrow at number 5 as well. He did everything. Everything you just said is pretty much exactly what I was going to say. He has the best weapons at his disposal. He was a few plays from winning the Super Bowl. I feel like he has, everything else. He's just that guy. He's just Joe.
Yeah.
He's good. I feel like he could also be the next type of Brady-ish kind of quarterback. I know it's very, very, very early, but I feel like he has the potential to be up there, to be a great. He has that winning mentality. It just doesn't seem like, he's just that guy, man. I'm very, very high on Burrow.
I agree. I think the difference with what I've seen with Burrow is like the pressure doesn't really get to him, which is really something you want to look into for a quarterback at a young age.
Yeah, especially at a young age.
He's done it before at the college level and now in the NFL. So my number 4, I have the back-to-back MVP, Aaron Rodgers, who's ranked number 3 in the NFL Top 100 list, which I think is respectable. He's won back-to-back MVPs. He still is honestly underrated in the fact that he's not in the top echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL 100. This is the first time he was like in the top 5, or not the first time, but the first time in a few years. He doesn't have that many weapons, I would agree. It's Bob Tunyon, his tight end, Alan Lazard, Sammy Watkins. I've heard a lot about Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs. So it's going to be Christian Watson, 6'4", speedy receiver out of North Dakota State. He played with Trey Lance. I think he's going to find a weapon because it's Aaron Rodgers, and he just knows how to get it done. I think he's arguably the greatest talent quarterback of all time. Like, Brady's the GOAT, but I think Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes is up there, but I still need to give it some time because he's so young. It's like he's done it for 3 or 4 years. Yes, he's great, but Aaron Rodgers has done it his whole career. I think he has one of the best arm talents and the greatest Hail Mary throws of all time. So
so a harder pill for me to swallow, but yes, I have Rodgers at 4-2. His accolades are what they are. He is a back-to-back MVP, even though he does absolutely really nothing in the playoffs the last couple of years. But
Man.
I mean, his numbers and stuff and his legacy for me is a little different for other people. But I mean, he is a top quarterback at the end of the day.
Right.
I mean, he gets it done. You don't get an MVP just for participating. You know, you have to do something of some sort that potentially might not even have been done before. So, I mean, he's doing stuff. His receiver room has gotten worse, and they didn't do anything to address it. Alan Lazard just got hurt too, so we don't even know if he's going to be ready for week 1. So, you know, one of those new guys like Watson or Dobbs, like we were talking about, could need to step up, or they might need to call an old reliable Randall Cobb to get in there.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are going to get a lot more looks.
Aaron Jones is going to be a really big pass catcher.
Yeah, and I think Dillon on the goal line is just going to be like, he's just going to punch it in every time. Dude's like a bowling ball. Their defense, I'm not too sure. Their defenses look good at times, and there's other times where it looks horrible. We'll see. I like their cornerback, Alexander, the most, as painful as it is to say he's on the Packers. He is a crazy good young talent.
He's a dog.
He is a dog.
He's nice.
He is.
And that brings me to my 4th pick, which is Aaron Rodgers. You guys said everything. The only thing that's concerning me about him is Rodgers is his receiving core. And, I mean, they couldn't really get anybody because Rodgers took all the money. Like, the man's the highest paid player in the league now. I'm just like, I get it, you want your money, which from a financial standpoint makes sense, but from a winning
I think he was long overdue.
He was long overdue, and they never should have drafted Jordan Love, in my opinion. But that's a different topic. I just feel like Aaron Rodgers gets it done in the regular season, and then doesn't really know what to do in the post.
You said it, but I couldn't agree more with that statement.
Yeah.
You said it best. He doesn't know what to do.
His record shows that for sure.
Especially the past 3 years, got embarrassed by the 49ers twice, and then Brady came into his house and beat him there too. So.
Yep. So at my number 3, I have Josh Allen.
Okay.
I was teetering back and forth between 2 and 3. Well, just think of some of the names I haven't said yet. But at number 3, I have Josh Allen. I think his team is going to be top 3 at the least in the AFC. Could be number 1.
Right.
He's fixed his accuracy the last couple years. When he just came into the league, his accuracy was really bad. He has a big arm, but his completion rate was awful. He was throwing these deep balls and not completing at all. To go along with the dual threat aspect, he's 6'5" and he can run, and he's like not worried about stiff arming, trucking. Hurdles. I think he's going to start sliding a little bit more just because he understands how important his health is. Compared to like when we saw him go up against Desean and the Texans, and he was rolling out and making superhero, trying to be the man. I think he's going to tone it down a little bit, but he's still that guy.
Okay, a little bit of a shocker, but I think I know why you put him at number 3, so we'll have to wait on that. I have the GOAT. I have Brady at 3. His number 1 ranking is a little controversial. I personally don't really ever care about that list too much. So
I think they did it before he retired. Or they did it before he retired.
I think he retired.
So they assumed he was done. And
maybe that's why.
That's legacy type of thing.
Anyways, whatever the reason is, that doesn't matter. I don't care about the list. I mean, he's the greatest quarterback probably we've all seen.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. He's just always been, at 45 you think, oh, he's done, or he's going to take a step back, and he gets better. He threw for the most passing yards he did last year at age 43, 44? So going in, his wide receiver room got better, even if you don't have Godwin those first 2 weeks at most, he'll be out unless there's setback. Yeah. Running back, he has Fournette, who's proven he can be usable. He's a
solid.
workable running back.
He's solid.
I think he's a little above solid, but
He's a top 12, 15 running back, I would say.
okay.
Top 15.
Yeah, I'm more top 12. He might crack my top 10 depending, but yeah,
Nope.
we'll put it there. And then the defense is going to be there to lift him, even though Brady's never really cared about having a defense. He does everything on his own. Buccaneers will be fine as long as he's good. There's no injuries. They could be back in the Super Bowl. This could be
He
Brady's
has been
last Super
carried
Bowl.
by his defense before. Though.
I was about to say, he got
won Super
carried.
Bowls off his Super
Yeah.
Bowls.
Well,
He's won
the
Super Bowls off
early
his
years.
No, the Super Bowl, his last one they won was the
And
reason.
with
Mahomes was
Seattle?
running for his life. Almost the entire game based off the fact that
I thought
defense
it
was killing them.
I thought
Oh,
it
the
was
Bucks
even.
defense is one of the best in 2020.
No, absolutely. But I mean, it's not like.
And with the
that,
Patriots, against Seattle, when they didn't run the ball and they threw it to Malcolm Butler,
Yeah, but
he's had other Super Bowls
It's-
Tom Brady's great, and we're not blaming him on
Yeah.
his defense.
No.
Unlike you could with maybe Peyton Manning.
yeah,
But
the only
Peyton Manning's so great.
the last thing I'll say too is it's not like it's a 2012 Ravens where it's a Joe Flacco type thing situation.
Right,
though. That's a
right.
big upgrade over Joe Flacco.
Oh, of course.
That defense was crazy, and that Buccaneers defense is crazy. But
Yeah,
come
agree.
on, that's a big step.
And number 3, I have Brady as well. The GOAT. A few years ago, I couldn't stand saying that, but now, I mean, there's no denying that the man's greatness, what he can do. The thing about Brady is it doesn't really matter who's on the team. He's going to find a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
The man's done it for 20 years, 20 plus years. Sorry. I'm very, very excited to see how he's going to fare with that O-line. That O-line's
That's the question.
the O-line is a little questionable, but you still have Mike Evans, who's very, very, very solid, and then you also have Chris Godwin, as you guys said, is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just see what Brady does. But I have him at number 3.
At number 2, I have Jackson Mahomes' brother,
Oh,
Patrick
my-
Mahomes.
Wait,
AKA
what?
Jackson
At
Mahomes'
number
brother.
2?
All right.
In my mind, I think he is a younger and more explosive version of Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
He maybe, at this age, there's no doubt in my mind he has the greatest arm talent we've ever seen in the league.
Yeah.
Greatest arm power as well. Some of the throws he makes are just unbelievable. I think his baseball background really helps with that as a pitcher and a shortstop. Same with, you can see it with Kyler Murray, and Stafford played baseball as well, where they can they can drop their arm angles like a shortstop, and they can make these insane throws. I mean, he'll do like under the hand throws, he'll no look. I think he has one of the best deep balls, like to Tyreek Hill when he had him. Now he has McCole Hardman, MVS. Juju, who's going to be more of a short to medium pass catcher.
Yeah,
but is their number 1 probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have him at number 2. I know you guys are going to want him at number 1, and you probably have him at number 1, but I'm higher on one more guy.
I think I have
this
an idea.
upcoming season.
Wow.
Okay.
I know who the guy is you have, but that's crazy. But anyways, we'll move on. I have Josh Allen at number 2.
Me too.
So we'll just get into, we've already kind of touched on Allen a little bit. For me, what I like about him, the dual threat, that's the new wave of quarterbacks. Yep. Mobility is a big thing now. He's not the fastest guy. He can run and take off, though.
Yeah.
He's not Lamar or Kyler or even Mahomes, but he
He's a
can
big guy.
run. And he's not one of those guys where he can just scramble away if he needs to. He can run on you. He'll go up the middle for 70 yards if he wants to.
Right. He's done it.
I think, too, he probably has the best arm in football, like long range. Like, he has a cannon.
Mahomes got him beat. But go ahead. Sorry.
I think there's one more guy who's got him beat.
A little bit better than Mahomes, in my opinion, on that. But other than that, I will take Mahomes over Allen. I think he has the long ball, as it showed with Diggs, taking the top off, not this last season, but the first year they got him. That was, for me, though, I mean, if he can just kind of figure out his running back situation, I mean, that's a top. He's a top 3 offense for sure. If they can just get a solid running back in there, or if Cook pans out, which everybody's hoping, that's a top 3 offense in my opinion. So I put Allen at 2.
Well, I have the same thing. I think our top 3 is the same. Josh Allen, there's a few plays short of going to 2 Super Bowls. I mean, not a few plays, but I'm saying if Mahomes and the Chiefs weren't in his way, I feel like they would have gone to the
And
Super Bowl.
honestly, that
twice.
wasn't his fault. That was his defense with 13 seconds. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah, they had
Travis Kelsey.
That was the best game of the
Mahomes.
year. I think we can all agree. That game was insane last
For sure,
year.
but 13 seconds left, that's just unacceptable. Like, he won that game for them, and the defense just collapsed.
The Bills' kryptonite is a coin toss.
It's
yeah,
true.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't really say much because you've said everything. So, but yeah, I have Josh Allen number 2.
All right.
Who's your number one?
Yeah,
I know who it
who's
is.
your
I know
number
who
one?
it is. I just need him to say it.
I got Herbo, Justin Herbert. He is my favorite for MVP.
Really?
I know this may come off as a stretch, but since he's taken over the job as a starting quarterback, his rookie year, no quarterback in NFL history has had more passing yards and more touchdowns in their first 2 years in the NFL. He has a better defense this year, a much better defense. So he's going to get the ball more. He's going to have more wins and opportunities, which helps for his MVP candidacy.
Right.
He has great weapons. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, don't sleep. Austin Eckler out of the backfield, Donald Parham and Gerald Everett at the tight end position. I think you were saying that you think Josh Allen or Mahomes has the best deep ball, and I think you could definitely argue for that, but I would actually argue that Justin Herbert has the best. Some of the throws he makes to Mike Williams down the field are pretty spectacular. Palmer had the same thing. Palmer was burning guys down the sideline.
That's a great argument.
Herbert, another guy who can dual threat. He can run. He can get out of the pocket. Yeah. He has really good eyes. I was watching this breakdown of Peyton Manning, just watching his eyes and studying his footwork, and he was talking just raving about Herbert. And I think the Dolphins are going to be so sad when Herbert's a Hall of Famer. 'Cause Herbert's going to win MVP this year for sure.
Okay. I will say for Herbert, I think his arm isn't there yet, but I think we will be saying he'll have the best arm in football. I just think Allen has a little bit more of a cannon. But I'm going to go to my number one, and I put Mahomes there. Pretty obvious, like we talked about. He's kind of not the face of the NFL, but when you think the NFL, no disrespect, you don't think Aaron Donald, unfortunately. You think Patrick Mahomes. If you ask a casual
quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, that's just how it is. And I think Aaron Donald is the number one.
Me personally, I think of Brady, but go ahead.
Well,
that's the first person that comes to mind whenever I hear
We're talking about like now, though.
But like now, if you're talking about next generation players, of course it's Mahomes.
Yeah, do you think of Mahomes?
Brady's LeBron, Giannis is Mahomes.
Perfect.
I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Nope. That is exactly.
Great analogy.
Exactly. Great analogy and great comparisons. Yeah. So I just think he deserves it. You never can count the Chiefs out with him, even though we've talked about already that receiving room is really bad. I still think, though, he's going to be the man. I don't think he wins MVP this year, but I think he'll still be relevant. He'll still be Mahomes.
Do you think a quarterback wins MVP this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess we can get into that another time about our MVP.
Oh, easily.
predictions.
I'll give Herbert.
I think Herbert's actually going to win it.
I think Allen will win it, but Herbert's a number 2 for me.
And number 1 for me is Mahomes as well. I feel like Tyreek is going to sorely miss Mahomes way more than Mahomes will miss Tyreek. Mahomes, because I don't think Tua is the same type of quarterback that can hit him in stride, wide open like Mahomes can. But that's comparing two different quarterbacks. Mahomes, for me, is something I've never, ever seen when it comes to being able to get for the throws that he makes, the pocket presence that he has. I've seen him get out of situations. I'm just like, they had him down. How is he able to get out of, it's happened multiple times. And if it weren't for a bad offensive line, he probably would have had 2 Super Bowl rings. But that's controversial. I feel like Mahomes can get it done with the best of them. And that's just how I feel about Mahomes. That's my boy.
All right, so quickly I'm going to go over my honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah.
I had Dak, Jalen, and Derek Carr.
Okay.
I didn't hear you guys say Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. Dak just didn't make the cusp. I'm not a big Dak guy. I think he's really good, but not top 10 for me. Derek Carr is top 13 for me. Top 12, honestly.
Mine, I don't think any of my honorable mentions will make the top 10 this season. I think potentially a couple of them will in the future. I have Dak, Carr, Tua, and then I put Lawrence and Hurts too.
No Kyler Murray?
No, Kyler Murray was on my list.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, Kyler Murray was 10 for him.
No, Kyler Murray was. Oh, I actually did.
No, it was 10 for you.
No, I took
it was
him
10
off.
for me.
I
You
took
didn't
Kyler
have
Murray off.
on your list.
Kyler Murray is on
You
my
had
honorable
Kirk Cousins.
mentions.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, because it's Kirk Cousins. You think
Okay.
Kirk Cousins is better than Kyler Murray? Come on now.
I do. I'll take Lawrence off my honorable mentions and put Murray.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence.
And then for my honorable mentions, it's Carr.
Mac Jones. Just kidding.
No. I was surprised. I forgot. I did not put Herbert. So I'm gonna fix that. Herbert is number 5.
Well, we can't backtrack.
I know. But I just got Carr, and then I like Murray, and I'll probably say. Who'd you have for your mentions again? You said
I had Dak, Jalen Hurts, and Derek Carr.
Jalen. Jalen's better than Tua.
Tua is not
Jalen's
top
better than
10.
Tua.
You guys
Tua's
are sleeping.
I'm
That's
not
all
sleeping.
No. Mm-mm. All right,
think it's gonna be
and
good.
that's it.
Yep. All
that
right.
one.
So now for the very last segment. Thank you all for staying in as we're over an hour in, staying with us. Excuse me. So we're all gonna write a number between 1 through 100 to determine draft order. So hide your card.
1 through 100.
A number 1 through 100, and I'm gonna click the random number generator on my computer, and whoever's closest will get to choose what pick, either 1, 2, or 3. Second person who is closest will pick whatever spot they want. After the first person chooses, it's gonna be a snake draft. So it'll go 1, 2, 3. The person who's third will take the fourth, fifth, and then the first person will get the snake. It'll look like this. It'll be smoother once we start. All right, you guys have a number?
Yes.
Yep.
It is 94. I'm not close at all.
I'm not at all.
What?
I chose 5.
Oh, I'm 29.
I have 11.
Wow. 1 through 100, you guys chose these
I
numbers?
chose 5, yeah.
I chose 11
You
because
chose
that's where I
5
picked in
for
my
1
draft.
through 100.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't
well,
think it was
I
gonna
have
be
the
that
first
high.
pick, and I will be taking the first pick.
I'm going last.
I'll
What
go
pick
sec-
do you want? Second or
I'll
third?
go second.
Interesting. Okay. So, the first pick of the 25 and under draft, I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
All right.
I know I
figured.
left you a really good spot. I mean, there's so many good players.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's out.
So Jonathan Taylor, I think he's by far the best running back available.
Yeah.
That's 25
Yeah.
and under.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge gap between him and maybe a
Easy
couple
for
other
me.
guys, but easily, I think he's the best player under 25.
All right.
Me, right?
Yep,
Perfect.
you next.
Mine's easy. You can Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's super easy. Age 23, taking his third NFL season. Excuse me. Hey man, he could ball in the NBA too if he wanted to.
Stop.
This is a season we talked about a little earlier where he has the potential to take that number 1 overall, potentially away from Cooper Kupp, Devonte Adams, whoever you view. Either
I
or
agree.
is fine with me because I think they're both phenomenal receivers. But I think this is the year that he has the potential to do it, and I think he's gonna do it. So I'm gonna take Jefferson with my first pick.
I think I know where Garrison's going here.
I don't.
Jay
do.
Chizzy.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase.
Wow,
That's my
okay.
boy. I got to.
So you get back-to-back picks. So by the way, this format, we're taking a quarterback, a running back, 2 receivers / tight ends, so just receivers, and then 2 defensive players. So it'll only be 6 rounds.
All right.
And there's a lot of really good players out there.
So I have Jamar Chase. I have to go with Lamar.
No.
Lamar Jackson. All right.
Yep.
Not the best quarterback on my board,
No.
but I like it. Lamar's a beast. All right. Blake?
Ooh. Man, that kind of threw me one. Let me see. I'm gonna go. Oh, actually, I know. I'm gonna go Najee Harris.
Okay, I like it.
I'm gonna go Najee Harris. I thought him coming out of college, he was one of the top backs. Him going to Pittsburgh, I thought was potentially a great, almost perfect situation. And he's going to be the workhorse there for years to come as long as he's healthy. And their O-line holds up. Not one of the better ones are talked about. It holds up, and Mike Tomlin's been a great coach for that team. So I think Najee Harris, for me, that's an easy pick. And he's going to be a top running back sooner than later. I don't know about like top 5 or the number 1 guy, but we'll be talking about him in that 5 through 10 range for sure at some point.
I think Najee could be top 5 next season with the workload he's going to get. I think he's going to be a beast, so I really like that pick.
I just don't know when it's going to happen. I don't
Yeah.
want, I
He's
think
still
he
young.
is.
He
I
is
think he
young.
can be top 5 hands down.
Yeah.
I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know about next season, but we'll wait and see. But I'm going to go Najee Harris there.
All right, so
that's
I
fine.
have back-to-back picks here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quarterback who I was just raving about, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Justin
Yeah,
Herbert.
I knew you would.
He was the number 1 quarterback on my board.
Absolutely.
I have back-to-back picks. There's still great quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going to take the first defensive player off the board, and that is Nick Bosa.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I like that one. Ooh. Didn't know the defense would be going this early. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go defense too then.
Uh-oh.
Because I didn't think the defense would go that early, and now I'm kind of scared. I'm going to go Micah Parsons.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
get.
I'm going to go Micah Parsons.
Man.
Rookie Defensive Player of the Year last year. double-digit sack season, and I mean, sky's the limit. For him, he's like the Herbert, where that ceiling is just up. It's not getting lower anytime soon. So I'm gonna put Parsons there for me.
All right.
Sorry, buddy.
No, you're good. I got back-to-back picks off this. So the first one I'm going is Javonte Williams.
I like it.
Good pick. I like it too.
And then my second one I'm going with is Jerry Jeudy. No, I'm sorry. Actually AJ Brown.
Okay.
Is AJ Brown under
Yep.
20?
He is.
Yes, he is.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure he's 25.
He's 25.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have AJ Brown on my board for sure.
I thought he was 26. I didn't have him on my board. So wait, you didn't take Jeudy, right?
No.
Okay. Good pick. Ooh, I'm gonna go. I'll go quarterback next. I'm gonna take Joe Burrow off the board.
Interesting strategy because everyone else is a quarterback.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm gonna take Burrow.
All right.
I wanted to take someone else and talk about him, but the show would get a little too spicy, and he needs a little more to prove because I don't have too much to talk about him. That my other quarterback, but Burrow, he's on the rise. Went to the Super Bowl and just lost. Like we said earlier, a couple different plays. We might be talking differently. He might be a champion. We don't know, but I'm gonna take Burrow. He can be a top quarterback in this league sooner than later.
Easily.
I have back-to-back picks here. I need a defense and 2 wide receivers with Justin Herbert, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Bosa. I love my team. But I'm going to take, like I said, back-to-back receivers. I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb with my first. And
Good one.
I think I know who you're going next.
Chase is gone, right?
Chase has been gone.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my boy.
Just saying.
Man.
I think I know who you're going to pick.
Cam's got good options, so either whatever
Cam
this
got-
whatever this
I
player
take
is,
going to be fine.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with DJ Moore.
Yep.
Oh.
That's exactly who I was thinking he was going to pick.
Wow, I didn't have him on my board. I respect that. He's a good player.
Ooh, that felt good.
It was him and, well, I'm not going to give away. He's probably going to get drafted.
You went more in CD, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb and
That's
DJ
tough.
Moore.
And you have Justin Herbert too?
Jonathan Taylor, Nick Bosa.
Oh, yeah. That is solid.
Okay.
I came prepared.
Yeah, you did, because I'm debating between 3 people right here on my pick. I'm going to go my most faithful I've been, and that's DK Metcalf.
Okay.
Jeudy was my clear number 2, but I've been a bigger DK Metcalf fan. I liked him out of college. I thought he fell. He shouldn't have been in that second round, and Seattle got a killer steal.
Well, you know why
I'm
he
worried they don't
fell.
have a quarterback now.
I
though.
actually don't.
So towards the end, he got hurt. And towards the end of
Went
his
to Ole Miss, right?
Yeah, towards the end of his career in Ole Miss, he started dropping like crazy. And so people thought that he wasn't going to be the talent that he is now. And I'm just like, y'all are stupid.
Sleep, yeah. I take DK. I know the quarterback situation is really rough with Geno or Drew Lock. You pick your poison type thing. I still think though he'll be fine. He's a number 1 receiver. Is he going to have a really good season or what he did last year? Probably not, but he'll still be reliable enough. So I'm going to go DK there. But I do love Jeudy as a close second.
All right, so I get 2 here. Did you take PS2 yet?
Nope.
No.
The only defenders are
Parsons and
Bosa. You haven't taken any defense, right?
He took Parsons.
I took Micah
Oh,
Parsons.
you took
Parsons from me.
You haven't taken a defense.
No.
No.
I'm going to go Chase Young.
These are your last 2 picks, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go Chase Young
That's a good one.
I like that.
and Sauce Gardner.
Oh,
Wow.
I am very high on
Potential.
I like
Gardner.
Sauce Gardner pick, actually. That's nice. Wow. Chase Young was my guy. That's
Interesting.
messed up, man.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, it's to me. My last pick is defense. Oh, man. Well, I wanted to talk about, I'm going to go AJ Terrell from the Falcons.
Ooh.
I'm going to switch it up. And I'm going to
Okay.
go AJ Terrell. And here's why. He is a little bit more fresh than a couple of the other guys I have on the board. I had a couple more corners left.
Right.
I think there's a corner that
Oh, there's a
a
couple.
little disrespectful.
No. I just wanted to switch it up. Trust me, there's 2 guys I'm taking over him. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to be controversial,
I got my entire
make
team.
things different. I think, though, he can be a good corner. That second, Falcons defense is god awful.
It's terrible.
But he is the bright spot on that team. He was solid. I believe he had 6 picks last season, 7, somewhere in that range. That number, I
Yeah.
think, can go up. I think he can potentially get to double digits, and maybe not this season, but once that team really starts to build and find their identity, he can be a pretty good corner for years to come. I do have a couple guys on my list that are a little bit better. I just wanted to talk about him to give him a spotlight because he deserves it, and he's upcoming.
I like that. I'm between two players. One is another 49ers player, but I think I'm going to go with the cornerback, and I'm going to take Jair Alexander.
Oh, that was my other guy. Good pick.
Yeah, finding a big.
I love Alexander.
Yeah,
he was injured last year. He's one of the best lockdown corners in the NFL.
In the game,
I would say he's really right behind Ramsey, in my opinion. I think that highly of him. I think he's that good.
Like one slot behind Ramsey.
I think he's within 5 to 3 in that range. I don't have all the names up right now.
Yeah,
but I think he's a top 5 corner.
Oh, he's top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know about the Ramsey thing. I'm a little shaky.
I'm not saying he's close. I'm saying he's like, it's Ramsey, and then I think it's Jair. He could be the second best corner.
Oh, no. I think Alexander's in that second tier behind.
I don't know. I think Trey White is the second best.
Tre'Davious White is good too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. I think the only thing that holds him back is he's a little smaller.
Yeah, he is a smaller.
Alexander's a bigger corner. Back, yeah. But so that'll conclude it. Let's go over our teams. I'll go first. At quarterback, I have Justin Herbert. Running back, Jonathan Taylor. Receivers, CeeDee Lamb and DJ Moore. And my defense is Nick Bosa and Jair Alexander.
Tough.
That is a tough team. At quarterback, I have Joe Burrow. I have Najee Harris at running back. Wide receivers were easy decisions for me at Jefferson and DK. You can maybe swap DK for Judy. That's just depending on the person. Defense, I didn't mean to take Parsons from you, but I had to talk a little bit about him because of my dad. He's a Cowboys fan. So I took Parsons, and then I took A.J. Terrell as a corner. I like the Alexander pick, and we talked about Tre'Davious White. I like Tre'Davious White out of all three if I had to be. If I had my choice.
Over Ramsey?
No. Of the three we're talking about. Terrell. Alexander. Yeah. Hold on. No, slow your roll. I like White just a little bit above Alexander, but Terrell needs that spotlight. He's on an Atlanta team where they don't have an identity, and that defense is pretty abysmal, but he is that bright spot. So I'm going to give it to him.
All right. Now at quarterback, I got Lamar Jackson. I think I like his explosiveness, man. And that 30 pounds of weight, like you said, because you kind of persuaded me to think that it's actually a good thing as opposed to a bad thing. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And I have Javonte Williams, stud. And then the wide receiver was easy. That was the easiest thing I could have done, really, was Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown. And then defensive player, I like Chase Young. And then Sauce Gardner was, ever since I saw him, I'm just like, this dude, he looks legit, man. He looks legit. I mean, he is on a bad team, but that was to be expected when you're a high pick.
I like the Sauce Gardner pick. I have no complaints.
I'm
no
excited.
Complaints at all.
All right, that's a wrap for the first NFL show. Thank you to everyone who's still here. It was a long one, but we have more shows each week coming out. It'll air next week for our Monticello football show next week, and we will catch you then. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Greg Poff, director of the Solano College Sports Broadcasting Program, and we're here in the TV studio at Solano Community College, and I'd like to tell you about a great opportunity this summer. Now, typically with our summer class, we're covering sports because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We're opening up the class to all of you podcasters, YouTube influencers, to give you a chance to come in and create content that we can show on YouTube. You can have your own podcast. We can even put you on Channel 28 locally. Let's take a look at some of the equipment we have here in the studio. Come on. All right, we're here in the Solano College Sports Network studio control room to show you some of the equipment that you can use as a student here at Solano Community College. And the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the production unit system that we use. It's made by New Tech. It's the TriCaster system. This system is used by every major network. So you come to Solano Community College, you're going to learn video production on the TriCaster unit. So you'll be ready to go once you leave our program. You'll be trained on the same equipment that you would use in all of the major networks. You see the video production board here. We've got our speakers set up here. Here we've got our interface that you can use. So all kinds of equipment that you can use to be a professional in media production. Another great feature of our video production system, you'll be able to get training on the Allen and Heath audio board, where you will learn the trade secrets for both radio and TV production. Here in the video editing suite, you will have access to Adobe Premiere and the entire Creative Cloud. If you can imagine it, you can create it right here in the Solano Community College TV studio. We have merged with Fairfield Cable Access, and that gives you the opportunity to use the same TV equipment that they use to produce their shows on local TV here in Fairfield, and that gives you the chance to also show your work on local TV.